G'day guys, welcome to today's tutorial. Today we are talking about how to actually warm up for your leg day. What you are going to need when you do this is that you are going to need a booty band. I am not the biggest fan of booty bands. I find them to be severely overrated. They're fantastic for warming up, just like any resistance band is, and potentially additional measures when it comes to maybe overloading that particular muscle when you are doing an exercise. However, should you be doing, say, body weights with resistant bands or stuff like that? I don't think so. And the reason being is because there's no progressive overload unless you're willing to do rep after rep after rep after rep after rep. And even then, there's only so much endurance exercise you can do within a minute or maybe 2 minutes or whatever the case may be. So yes, as a working exercise, I don't really particularly rate the use of bands. However, as a warm-up, they are fantastic because they are low resistant and easy to take the body from, say, a sedentary stationary position to then starting to prep ourselves for exercise. So yep, again, you will need a booty band. Now, one thing we need to be aware of when it comes to our leg day. Our leg day is controlled by our hips. So, and obviously a few people are going to be up in arms about that. It is controlled by our hips because that's where we want to create the most stability. Where else we are controlled, obviously, here at our knee joints and our ankle joints, but what tends to happen is that if our hips are nice and warm, primed and ready, you will create plenty amounts of stability to these hips, and as such you'll have a really good flow-on effect to your ankles, to your knees. So my advice to anyone is to concentrate on warming up their hips first whenever it comes to a big squat day, leg day, whatever, or even a deadlift day. By all means, warm those glutes up, create the stability through your hips, and then your legs will fall in suit. So let's start with how we want to warm up for our legs. Obviously, we're going to need the mat. So we're going to be down, and the first point of call is to place this band around our knees and just above. Oh, this is a tight one. Okay, so from this position, what we are going to be doing is getting into what we call into clams. Just as the name suggests, all we're going to be doing is opening and closing our leg. The reason why we want to do this particular exercise is our glutes have three muscles. We have the glute maximus, glute medius, and glute minimus. By opening and closing like so, you're going to start warming up your glute medius, which is going to help us with external rotation and create that screw-like pattern when it comes to doing our three points of contact through our feet. So if we can start warming and priming these glutes up, then we are going to get some serious glute activation and also stability when it comes to doing our 3 points of contact through our feet. So when performing this exercise, what we're looking to do is have a nice straight torso, but we also want these heels in line with our backside. Our knees obviously are going to fall where they fall, and our toes facing slightly forward. I want you to think a zigzag. So zig, zag, zig, and then we're going to be straight up with our arm. So from this position here, all we are going to do is just open and close. It doesn't have to be too far. Okay, keep those heels together. We're just opening and closing. You can even put your hand on your backside and open and close like so. Okay. From this position, we want to do about 10 and then obviously roll on to the other side, open and close with the other side. Okay, that's exercise number one. Once you've done about 3 or 4 rounds of those, you're going to roll onto your backside and you're going to push the bands out. So it's going to be this position and out they go. Push them out as far as you possibly can. If around your knees is too hard, then what you can do is you can slide them down to your ankles, okay, like this, and just pull apart with your ankles, and you will feel your glutes come absolutely alive like that. It's very minimal, although this band is quite tight. It's very minimal, but enough to be feeling it through your backside. Now, you'll do 10 to 15 of those, go through 4 or 5 rounds. Once you've done that, we're going to pull this back up to our knees and we're going to combine the two. Now, this next exercise can load up your lower back, so it's important that if you start diving into this lower back, that we start pulling it back and start thinking about activating those glutes. This may work for some and may not work for others, so if you do find that your lower back is becoming overloaded, then maybe give this one a miss, maybe do some hip thrusters instead. But the one that I'm referring to is you're going to lay nice and flat like so, push the band apart, and then with your glutes, drive your hips into the ground, and you're going to raise your legs, and you're going to feel your glutes come alive. So again, out first, hold, and then come up and squeeze. Up, hold, squeeze. Up, hold, squeeze. And you're going to do about 10 to 15 of those. Now remember, we don't want to arch and we don't want to pivot off this lower back all through this glutes. So again, out, up, out, up. Okay. That there is what we are going to be doing off the floor. After this, we're going to open up these hips a little bit more by getting into a dynamic stretch, by simply getting up and down. I'll take you through that. Okay guys, so by now, hopefully your glutes are coming absolutely alive and awakening. What we are now going to do is start to mimic our movement pattern. So a lot of people go and do during their leg day, say a barbell squat, a leg press, a hack squat, any type of squatting movement pattern. So what we're going to do is we're going to mimic this movement pattern so it has you nice and primed and ready to go when it comes to executing at your top weight. But first, what we are going to do is we're going to try and open up these hips a little bit more. So prior to that, we were starting to stimulate and create blood flow to our hips, which is going to create a little bit more stability, but we also want to have that full range of motion, be able to get up and down without actually feeling any sort of pain. So what you're going to need is you're going to need to grab yourself a nice sturdy pole or something weighted that you can hold, that's going to hold you down. So potentially a dumbbell rack or anything that's stationary that you can hold onto that's going to counterbalance your weight. Perfect. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to get to the bottom portion of the squat and we're just going to pause for a minute, okay, or not a minute, sorry, not literally a minute, but we're going to pause for a second and we come back up. We're going to do that about 5 times. So what you're going to do is you're going to hold this pole. You're going to mimic exactly how you go about doing your squat. So you're going to screw your feet in, your knees are going to go out, maybe inside knee, outside toe. You're going to push these knees out as far as they can go and really start to open up your hips. Okay, so we're going to come down, screw it in, knees go out, and we're going to just pause at the bottom, drive back up, and use your hands to counterbalance. It's all about just getting that range through those muscles at the moment. Okay, I'm going to come back up and we'll do this about 5 times. So knees are going to really push out, hold at the bottom, open these hips up, drive up. Okay, again, knees right out and drive up, and so on and so forth. Okay, so next what we're going to do is after you've done maybe 10 or 15 of those, just get that blood happening, get those muscles nice and loose and limber and ready to go. We're actually going to shift our weight side to side, and this will start to open up the ankle joint and start to get it ready and primed for if we have a slight shift of weight for whatever reason when we're going down, that it can handle that slight stress. So we're going to go down in our squat pattern again. Okay, knees go out, and we're just going to shift our weight onto one side and really try and push that knee out to the outside of the toe, but also slightly forward. Okay, don't allow these heels to come off the ground. So we're just going to push it through its natural range, and we're going to shift and slide across to the other ankle. You might find that one ankle is better than the other, so that could then tell you that maybe we need a little bit more work on the other ankle just to create a little bit more mobility. We're just going to be pushing these knees out. We're going to shift, and we might do this 3 or 4 times just to really get these ankles working. Okay, and just hold and pause, and don't forget you can use this blue pole or your counterweight in order just to keep you nice and steady. Okay, and then we're going to come back up. Now, lastly, what we're going to do is we're going to open up these hips and try and stretch out these adductors. I know before, or a lot of people are against static stretches, and I am one of them. I think that you're much better off mimicking the pattern that you're about to undertake, and put your body in the positions that you're about to perform at a high intensity over a static stretch. But when it comes to this, I find that a lot of people are closed off, and this is the reason why potentially they might struggle with the squat pattern and look for their quads, is because we are very overdeveloped through our quads just in our natural walking and potentially running. If you're an athlete, you run in this position a great deal, and it switches off our glutes a great deal. So what you'll find is your adductors will be nice and tight and your glutes will be relatively not that active. So what we're going to do in this bottom position is we're actually going to force our knees out and do a little bit of a butterfly stretch, just to start to lengthen and allow our hips to move freely at the bottom of the squat. So we're going to come back down again, okay, and with my elbows I'm just going to push these knees out. Our inside knee is going to go towards our outside toe, and we're just going to open up these hips and try and keep a nice tall back so that we are really mimicking the bottom portion of our squat, and so that when we are nice and loaded and heavy, okay, then we are not exposing our body to anything that it's not already been through throughout the warm-up. So we might do this 3 or 4 times. So down 1, okay, knees out, push and hold. Okay, again, 2, 3, and 4, and that there is what you want to do. Now, from this position, what we would then do is move into mimicking or move into our warm-up sets when it comes to our barbell squats, our hack squats, our leg press, whatever it is that your major movement for your workout is, even a sumo deadlift or a conventional deadlift. Okay, we'll start moving into these warm-up sets. So make sure that potentially our first warm-up set might be that of just getting through the range, might be an empty barbell or something that's very light for you, getting through that range, remembering your patterns, remembering, you know, screw your feet in, knees go out, shoulder blades back and down, whether it be a deadlift or if you know feet nice and wide, screw your feet in, knees go out, hold in nice and tight, whatever your rituals are for your squat dead, whatever exercise you're about to do. Start to execute that. Then the second warm-up set might be adding a little bit of speed and control. So we might, pop up and then control down, pop up, control down if you're doing deads, and same process with our squats and so on and so forth. And then the last set might be just putting it all together. Cues, speed, execution, perfect. And then we start to increase our load and then carry on through there. And hopefully our performance and our execution will be spot on. And obviously you'd be following our acronym steps. So you've got your stability, create your stability, tension through the working muscles, perfect execution, and then track that performance, and hopefully your performance will skyrocket. So team, that there is how you go about warming up your lower body for your push day, your leg day, not push day, although a lot of leg pressing and stuff is pushing, but anyway. So yeah, by all means use this, warm those hips up, create stability through your hips, open up these joints, your knees and your ankles, and I guarantee you that you're going to be feeling a lot better when it comes to your squat pattern. Another little thing that potentially you might implement, if say the bands around your knees isn't enough, you might go and do the adductor machine and also a hip thruster just to get some load through the body, start activating that central nervous system for load. What I would suggest you do, if that's the way you like to go, me personally, I like to do that, then I would suggest you work anywhere between 50 and 65% of your overall 1RM. That way then it's light enough that you're not probably going to tax yourself too heavily for your big heavy lifts on your squat dead or whatever machine you're going to use. But enough stimulus to get you primed and ready for these particular movements, and have enough blood flow through the hips and the joints and the knees, and expose yourself to a little bit more loading before you go and dive straight in. But again, that is a personal preference. Me personally, I love to do it that way. So yep, that there team is how you want to go about warming up your lower body for your lower body day, leg day, and so on. Okay.